Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And I hope that you're all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. As we really look at this space, there's a few altcoins in this market that I just feel are getting extremely overlooked at crucial moments in time. And one of those projects is XDC Network, or XDC. Now I'm recording this a little bit ahead of time, so obviously prices are going to change a bit, but I do think now is the best time to be focused on XDC simply because of what we are now seeing on the charts and also what we just saw around the fundamental side of XDC as well, which of course we will jump into here in a second. Now, remember, there is still a ton of listing opportunity around XDC, especially this cycle, to get listed out on Coinbase, Binance, you name it, which definitely does bring in a lot more volume and also value behind XDC. It also puts a lot more eyes on XDC as well at a time where the overall trading volume is only sitting at about roughly $6.5 million. So, what are we seeing on the charts right now around XDC? Well, I see that we are now back into a demand zone, or at least we are trailing right around it. And now is the best time to be focused on XDC, especially at a time where we are starting to see it dip down into these levels again. And the reason why I say that is because, guys, this is the same exact levels that it was trading at right before that massive run up back in July, where everyone was like, wow, I wish I would have known about XDC when we were making content on it pretty much almost every single day. And it went up about roughly 207% in a very short amount of time. Now, that is a very small move for crypto, if I'm being completely honest, and I do believe that we will go significantly higher, especially in the mid to long term. And when I say that, I do believe that XDC will really kind of break over these high levels up here at about roughly like 20 cents and even lead the path towards going to like 50 to 75 to even possibly $1. So 50 to 75 cents is my full focus when it comes to XDC, but I wouldn't write off the idea of it pulling an XRP-like run this cycle. But this level down here is where I'm really kind of looking at XDC heavily and adding. And we just had, 2 whole weeks almost of some solid trades down here. If we actually look at the daily chart, we could see that we were down here for a little bit of time, and every single time that we get back down into this level at about roughly like 3 to 3.5 cents, I personally look at it as a very big opportunity to accumulate even more XDC for the long-term path ahead. Now, let's look at a few things that have happened around XDC and really kind of address why it is a very large deal. So the XDC R3 POC is something that I have been watching closely, and I do think that everybody should have been watching this closely. We pretty much got what we expected out of this POC, which was a very big success. We have Sorry for the Wait, the first joint venture project between the SBI Group and XDC Network, which we have been working on since the end of last year, has been successfully completed with R3 Corda. Please see below for details. Now, you can't afford to not be a part of this Discord. You need to join the free Discord down in the description below, as well as in the comments below right now, to get ahead of the rest of the market with 24/7, 365 access to information around crypto, including insights, trades, altcoin gems, you name it. You need to be a part of this Discord. So what are you waiting for? Click the link down in the description below, as well as in the comments below, to join today. Again, we knew that this was going to be a very successful POC because of how substantial XDC actually is as a overall blockchain, but also as an overall network. And even when we look at this announcement, we could actually see SBI R3 with Impul and even SBI XDC, and you can see trade finance being an image in the background. So it seems as though their focus is definitely still on trade finance, even within this, but also even around just transactional flow, because remember that Impul is around cross-border payments. So very interesting, but overall, I'm very excited about this. And we even have over here XDC token triumphs in SBI Group experiment for B2B settlement transactions. And if we scroll down, we can see the XDC token has successfully passed an experiment for fiat settlement in business-to-business transactions by SBI XDC Network APAC and SBI R3 Japan. SBI Group announced this groundbreaking development via an official press statement today, May 31st. This now completed experiment settlement with XDC token commenced in December of 2023, leveraging the Corda blockchain and Corda bridge. Notably, SBI Group and the XDC network partnered on May 31st, 2023, when SBI VC Trade began handling Japan's first crypto, XDC. Essentially, the settlement transaction trial using XDC coincided with the second anniversary of this strategic partnership. Per the latest update, SBI Group aims to enhance the integration of the XDC network and the Corda and broaden the Corda bridge technology applications. The SBI Group is optimistic that these efforts will reinforce their partnership and lay the groundwork for enhancing the efficiency of business-to-business payment processes in trade transactions. And again, you can see how Impul plays into this and how trade finance also plays into this. And here's the background behind it. So significantly, these Japanese financial giants executed the proof of concept to test the feasibility of using the XDC token for fiat settlements in B2B transactions by connecting two distinct blockchain platforms. The first is Corda, a private blockchain renowned for its interoperability and privacy, which are crucial for B2B dealings. The second is the XDC network, a layer 1 public blockchain network compatible with private chains. Notably, this connection was facilitated through the Corda bridge. This integration aims to facilitate comprehensive settlements that cover both the private aspects, such as confidential transaction data, and the public aspects, like the transfer of value. By doing so, they aim to provide an efficient settlement method that could reduce the time and cost of international trade transactions. Results of the POC during the trial, SBI Group entities acting as exporters and importers successfully demonstrated the simultaneous processing of transaction information, approval, and settlement. In other words, the experiment confirmed that the capability for instant remittances between the parties involved. From a technical standpoint, the experiment allowed for the independent implementation of the CordaP and Corda bridge components. It was verified that the XDC payment functionality could be generally integrated into the CordaP for various applications beyond just the settlement scenario tested in the experiment. While this was the inaugural hybrid POC involving the XDC network and other blockchains, SBI Group believes the positive outcomes indicate that transferring value across different blockchain platforms is achievable without issues. Expectedly, XDC's success in this settlement experiment has attracted bullish sentiment from crypto community members, and here are some future developments as well. So we have moving forward, SBI Group plans to build on the findings from these tests by continuing its collaboration with SBI VC Trade and SBI Liquidity Market, the latter of which manages the group's foreign exchange operations. So very interesting to see what will happen next. Very interesting to see that this was a success, which we already knew that it was going to be because of how efficient XDC is. But also, we got a big update from the co-founder of XinFin Official, and we have XDC can now be officially used to settle transactions on R3 Corda, institutional pilots incoming. This is an insight that we did not know about, which is now we're going to see pilots from institutions incoming for XDC, which I'm very, very excited about. Now, beyond this, let's talk about how big this actually is. Well, we know that R3 is an absolute giant, and their overall goal is we exist to transform financial markets to operate with greater efficiency and transparency. And we have R3 is leading the future of digital finance by powering multi-party solutions that deliver digital trust and unlock greater potential for regulated businesses everywhere. And we have trust that what you see is what you get. And down here, less centralized, more connected. As financial services veterans, David and Todd knew firsthand that there was a lack of trust in how financial institutions collaborated and transacted with each other and their customers. They believed that if these organizations were less centralized and more connected, financial markets and other regulated industries could run for more efficiently run far more efficiently and effectively. And this is where Corda really kind of came into play. We can see their full story here on how big they have become. And here is their full story now today, which we already know they are a substantial giant in the realm of finance. Here are just some of their investors. Very, very prominent that the big banks are definitely behind R3 and R3 Corda because of just how efficient it is. And we already know that they're working with some of the largest names out there, as you guys can see on this list. Now, outside of this, let's actually go over here to the DLT technology behind this. So capitalize on the new digital economy, transact openly and securely at scale and across networks. And this is all through R3 Corda. You can see some of the benefits behind it in terms of app interoperability, all that kind of stuff, which you guys are probably already bored about. I'm not going to go over it too much. So let's actually go down here to the actual platform. So some of the names behind this platform we already looked at, right? The investors. But that is just really kind of scratching the surface. Beyond this, if we actually look at their mission over here, so we have embracing a new era of digital finance. This got posted back in June, actually, of last year. And we have R3's mission, enabling an open, trusted, and enduring digital economy. We have the world of finance is rapidly evolving, and we find ourselves in the midst of a new era for digital finance that is full of opportunities and risk. At R3, our mission is to enable an open, trusted, and enduring digital economy. We're helping usher forth a world where value, digital currencies, and digital assets can move freely whilst ensuring business is done safely and privately. We further this through our platform Corda, the leading enterprise DLT, and through our products and services that enable the secure exchange of value in regulated industries. We are striving to build a connected network of regulated networks underpinned by lasting and trusted technology. Now, beyond this, right, as we really look at what's going on, what are they fully focused on? Well, they're focused on pretty much every single industry, every single sector that you can think of. And when we look at that, right, like here is the use case directory of Corda. So you can see digital assets, digital currencies, global trade, payments, reconciliation, and even other. When you look at some of these, like for example, digital assets, these are all of their use cases. You could see a substantial amount of them. For example, the DTCC is on here. You even have HSBC with their tokenized gold and their digital vault. You have SDX on here. These are very substantial names. But then you also have digital currencies, and these are all of like the major banking projects and POCs that did include, of course, R3, and the list goes on, as you guys can see. So we have the Bank of Thailand, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, Bank of Canada. This is the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. I mean, this is the South African Reserve Bank, Project Icebreaker, which is very substantial. You have SBI on here, of course, the Central Bank of the UAE, the National Bank of Kazakhstan, Riksbank, Project Dunbar, Project Helvetia. Like these are all very substantial, and you can see all of the big names included here. You have Accenture, you have the BIS, you have massive giants. Like the names go on and on. Like R3 is an absolute giant piece of the puzzle. But also, as you go to global trade, this is where things get interesting. There's only one name on here, and it's digitizing cross-border trade and supply chains, and it's just DLT ledgers. Now, why is this important? Well, before I even click this, we know that this POC with XDC is still focused on trade finance, as you guys do see in this video clip. I mean, you can clearly see that this is all around trade finance. Obviously, Impul is being tapped in with B2B and stuff like that. It's mainly probably focused on SME money flows because SMEs are very hard to get funding or even just, get any sort of financing done. And when we think about that, right, like, there's still that focus on trade finance. That's where XDC is really kind of specialized on. And when we think about that, like let's go over here to this use case. So we have DLT ledgers, digitizing cross-border trade and supply chains. Challenge: the inefficiencies of paper-based processes along the multiple phases of trade transactions impact cost, complexity, and turnaround times, resulting in reduced margins for traditional bank LC business and tough competition for client business from other working capital solutions. And we have solution. DLT Ledgers is a plug-and-play solution for digitizing cross-border trade and supply chains. The solution combines the benefits of blockchain, AI, and cloud computing in a single platform, reducing transaction cycle times, freeing up working capital, and automating expensive manual processes. And we have Y Corda, chosen for its transaction-level privacy, scalability, and R3's 24/7 support. Results: 4,000 plus businesses participating, financing, or supporting cross-border trades. 3 billion transactions and $3 billion in transactions to date have been executed on the platform, and also replatformed by or from Hyperledger Fabric due to problems with privacy and scalability. And that is DLT Ledgers. Now, when we actually go over to their website, we can see some of their partnerships, which are very substantial, right? They have some very large banking collaborators and things like that. But also we could see some of the names that are actually working with them. Like, for example, Citi is actually on here as a very large player, as you guys are probably all aware. And the list goes on and on. Now, outside of this, all right, how is this company tied back to XDC, and are they tied back to XDC? Well, I couldn't find any substantial, partnership or mentioned by any of the XDC teams or anything like that. But I will say this: they are on the ITFA, as you guys do see here, Distributed Ledger Technologies, DLT, PTE, LTD, and these are like all the fintech players that are tied to the ITFA that are actually helping this all become a reality. And we have XDC down here, as well as even R3. R3 is on here as well, and And these are like the players that, in my opinion, I don't look at them as like competing at all. In fact, I actually look at them as complementary. And I'm sure that XDC has a substantial use case tied to it outside of what DLT is doing. Like for an example, tokenization. I think that tokenization on XDC to provide liquidity around trade finance is a very significant use case that definitely needs to be mentioned. But as we really look at R3 and the connections to R3, I mean, there's so many big names. Like even if you go over here and you look down at some of the big banks and those that are actually utilizing R3 and Corda to modernize and even streamline their business, like these are substantial names. And even if you go over here to digital assets, like here are like some of the other larger names, like the DTCC is on here, moving $2.5 quadrillion worth of securities per year, substantial. Also, central banks themselves, just talked about them, substantial list. Also fintechs, if you scroll down, you could see some of the fintech companies. Here's where you could actually see DLT. There's also a few other ones as well, like Clear Markets, Temenos, Arcix is on here as well. Pretty cool stuff. And also, even under DLT themselves, you could see these are who trust R3 and Corda to power the new digital economy. And again, substantial names. So overall, as we look at R3, this has always been a giant to me. I've always looked at R3 as an absolute significant piece of the puzzle. And I think that any name like XDC that is collaborating with R3 and has successful POCs like this, it really speaks volumes on where XDC is positioned and who XDC actually is. To me, right now, everyone is looking at XDC price action and they're like, oh, well, it's doing absolutely nothing and it's back to pretty much these levels here. And I look at this as a major opportunity. I don't look at it as a negative thing at all. I mean, this POC definitely needs to be mentioned. Outside of this, we already know how big XDC has become in the trade finance space. I'm not too worried about like DLT ledgers or anything like that, like eating up, XDC's lunch. In fact, I actually look at these as complementary. I think that all of these players on this list in terms of fintechs on the ITFA, for an example, are very complementary in a sense that they all have specific use case applications, and it's going to be a substantial amount of players tied to something like digitizing the entire trade finance industry. So to me, I'm not too worried about that. I just wanted to bring up one name that is actually tied back to R3 under the global trade use case. There's a lot of other use cases on here as well. I mean, if you actually go to the other and look through here, there's like the other names tied to this, but this is like the only trade finance one that's actually on here in terms of like digitizing cross-border trade and supply chains, which you could argue XDC is also doing the same thing with Impul through their trade finance industry. But I also, or their trade finance solution, sorry. But I also do like XDC around tokenization and providing liquidity to SMEs through trade finance. I think that that's a use case that everyone needs to be focused on. But with that in mind, I do think that this is huge. And I think that this little hint here around like institutional pilots incoming, I'm very excited about that. I think that that is I think that that's a little bit of a hint at what's about to happen around XDC. Institutions are flooding in, guys. So focus on the institutional aspect around some of these applications and what these PLCs could very well do to these networks and these digital currencies within the space. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on for some more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.